I tried to get revenge on my liquid kid's guzzling sister, but she ruined her own life. When I was 22, I walked into my fiancé Tim's apartment and found him with my stepsister Mia. I had a key. I was bringing him dinner after his double shift. Instead, I found her on his couch wearing his shirt. The smirk on her face while I screamed and cried told me everything I needed to know about who she really was. My dad's response when I called him sobbing, "You need to forgive them. Tim fell out of love with you. He fell in love with your sister. Give them your blessing instead of being petty." I shouted back, "Of course you'd say that. You cheated on mom." We had a screaming match that ended with him saying he'd disown me if I didn't come to their wedding. That's when I realized I'd spent my entire life being invisible to him. When I was 14, I won a state science competition. Dad missed the awards ceremony because he was at Mia's volleyball game where she sat on the bench the whole time. When I got a full ride to a prestigious university, he threw me a party, but only because I was the first in the family to do it. Mia was so jealous she locked herself in her room and cried until Dad went upstairs to comfort her for an hour. When Mia failed out of college sophomore year after partying too much, Dad paid $30,000 to get her into a private school. My scholarship covered mine, which he constantly reminded me was lucky because he couldn't afford two tuitions. When I got into medical school, his exact words were, "Finally you did something worth celebrating." Then he spent the entire dinner talking about Mia's new boyfriend who worked in finance. The favoritism wasn't just Dad. At family gatherings, aunts and uncles would fawn over Mia's outfits and boyfriends while I sat in the corner studying. My cousin once told me, "You're pretty in your own way," which I later realized was an insult. Mia developed early, dressed like she walked off a magazine cover, and knew exactly how to work a room. I was the nerdy stepsister who wore hoodies and talked about biochemistry. So when Mia's wedding invitation arrived 6 months later, I was still in therapy trying to process everything. My therapist kept saying, "Revenge won't heal you," but I didn't care. I wanted her to feel a fraction of what she put me through. That's when I ran into Jay at a coffee shop. Jay was Mia's ex, the guy she dated on and off for 3 years. She'd cheated on him twice, used him for money, and emotionally destroyed him. When Jay learned about Mia and Tim, he was furious. He kept saying he wished he could make her pay for all the times she'd hurt him. I had an idea. Mia still had feelings for Jay. I knew because she'd drunkenly confessed it to me a year earlier, saying she kept him around as backup, but Jay was the one who got away. So I asked Jay to be my +1 at her wedding. We'd show up together, make her insanely jealous, and ruin her special day. He agreed immediately. We spent 2 months planning our outfits, our story, every detail. We'd arrive late so everyone would turn and look. We'd sit in the third row where she'd see us during her vows. We'd dance together at the reception. It was petty and immature, and I didn't care. But 3 days before the wedding, everything changed. I got a call from Tim's mom at 7 a.m. The wedding was canceled. I thought maybe Tim got cold feet. Then she told me the real reason. Turns out Mia had been sleeping with Tim's boss, his younger brother, and 2 of his groomsmen. All of them thought they were the only one. Tim's brother found texts on her phone when she left it unlocked at a family dinner. He showed Tim, who confronted the boss, who admitted everything. The groomsmen confessed when Tim called them screaming. Tim called off the wedding that night. He put their apartment on the market, quit his job, and moved back to his hometown 3 states away. His boss fired Mia from the marketing job Dad had gotten her through a friend. Tim's brother posted screenshots of her messages in their family group chat, so his entire family knew what she'd done. Within a week, her Instagram went private after hundreds of angry comments. Her friends stopped answering her calls. Someone made a TikTok about her that got 50,000 views before she threatened legal action. I never had to do anything. She imploded her own life completely on her own. The best part? Dad called me 2 months ago asking if I'd help pay for Mia's therapy because she's been having panic attacks and can't afford treatment. I said finally she did something worth celebrating and hung up. He hasn't called back.